These are 10 lead cars expected to be coming to Forza Horizon 5 over the coming updates and or months. Now, some of these are new cars that have recently been added to the game files. Other ones are, of course, ones that have been in the game files for a little bit of time now that I figured I'd talk or get back into discussion. And other ones are new cars that have come out in real life that might have sparked some discussion on Reddit or within the forums or even via developers internally. So I'll be covering each one of these. And of course, before we get started, comment down below what cars you want to see coming to Forza Horizon 5. We've just seen update 42 pass as well as 41. There are quite a few nice new cars, but of course, I think there could just always be some very good cars to come out with Forza Horizon 5, still pushing out quite a few updates with Horizon 6 potentially on the cusp, which I'll be making more videos about soon. With all that out of the way, let's go and get started on the first car on this list, which of course is going to be a 2021 Jeep Grand Wagoner. Now, if we look in game at the moment, there are quite a few different sort of Jeeps in the game, but we don't often see too many of them added. Now, if you go and look at Jeeps exactly, you guys will see exactly what I'm referring to. There aren't too many options. I mean, we've got 6 different Jeep cars. Having a little bit more variety here would be something the community I'm sure would like, and these Jeeps are often quite well received generally by the Forza community, and this one has been in the game files for quite a bit of time now. So that's one car to definitely go in and note. Now, second on this list is actually going to be the BMW M8 Competition Cabrio. Now, we actually saw the M8 Competition, the regular model, get added to the game quite a while ago. This is pretty much a similar variation to the Cabrio. We sometimes see Forza doing this where they'll space out or they'll effectively get the licensing for basically the same car, right? This is both the BMW M8 or the M8 Competition or the Cabrio. They're variations of the M8. Forza will get the licensing for the one model of car and they'll pretty much space it out so they can pretty much use the content a little bit more among various different updates. We see it happen a little bit of time. We often don't see 2 of the exact same variations of one model, and I guess there's going to be an instance of this happening right here. Now, in terms of another BMW, we next up with the 2022 BMW 2 Series. Unfortunately, this is all the information I had. We, of course, have the M2 in the game, so it wouldn't be this M2 in particular, and just as some sort of 2 Series car. Unsure as exactly what it could be, but there was some talk about another 2 Series coming from a 2022 facelift variation, so pretty vague, but you guys can comment down below what you think could be the case there, and I'll be open to kind of hear some suggestions. Next up, we got the 2024 Audi R8 Performance Plus. Now, we actually recently did see the 2018 V10 or the 2022 V10 Performance R8. This is another R8 yet again. Now, of course, the R8 models keep coming virtually every other year, so sometimes it's hard to keep up with those, especially as Forza. There's quite a few different R8s in the game right now, but none of them are too up to date. And adding whether it's going to be the R8 V10 Performance 2022 or, of course, the more recent one I've just mentioned, the 2024, they both be a pretty cool addition. We saw some Audis not too long ago. We saw the RS6, the RS7. The R8, of course, is going to be the top dog, so seeing that one would be a very good addition to the game, and I'm sure not too many people would have any complaints. And next up, we got the Lamborghini Tamario 2025. I definitely did not pronounce that right, but a pretty insane car. We've seen quite a few Lamborghinis added to the game over the past year or so. I mean, we've got the revamped Countach. We've, of course, got the STO. We've got other cars that are rumored to come in, like the Urus S, but we have seen the Technica, the LP7840, the Aventador S. We've seen other ones, the Sian, the SC20, a number of different Lamborghinis in the game we've seen. So obviously, Forza and Lamborghini have a pretty seamless licensing agreement, and I'm sure they could potentially extend to this new car on their list and maybe get a little bit of hype towards it, like what we've seen with cars like the McLaren Senna. When the McLaren Senna came out in real life, it was also pretty much dropped at the same time of Horizon 4, being the game cover car. It was pretty much its debut into the gaming and video game scene. I guess get a little bit of eyes on the car as well as in real life sort of attention. It was getting all the popularity, and Lamborghini might be doing something similar here, like we've also seen with the Urus concept in Horizon 4 before the actual Urus came into light. And next on the list, we got the 2017 Lincoln Continental. There's actually quite a little bit of good potential for some of these Lincoln cars to be added to the game. I'm pretty sure there's only one Lincoln car in the game at the moment. Adding some of these newer models that are starting to get a little bit more prevalent in real life would be a pretty good opportunity for Forza. Some of them are even more luxury cars as well, which could be a pretty good balance. We've seen Forza adding a couple Bentley cars. We haven't seen Rolls-Royce in quite a few years, but maybe Lincoln could be a little bit more of an alternative to that, which they have an ability to be able to get via licensing. So that's something to throw around as an idea. There's been a little bit of talk about Lincoln as well, so the Continental, the 2017 model, would probably be a pretty good start to that. Now, next up, we got the Pagani Utopia. I mentioned this a couple of videos before. The Pagani Utopia is going to be a pretty cool car. Of course, one of the newer released or unveiled Paganis. We haven't seen too many Paganis in real life or in Forza for quite a while, but there is a decent lineup, and the Utopia would definitely be a pretty insane arrival for this as well, and keep a fair bit of the community pretty happy with some of these cars consistently coming to the game, opposed to using previously recycled cars from Horizon 4, Horizon 3, or even Forza Motorsport. So next up on the list beyond that is going to be the 2005 McLaren Benz SLR McLaren, the McLaren and Mercedes pretty insane AMG, quite an OG car. This actually been in prior Forza games quite a while ago. It's been on the game files for quite a long time, but more recently there are actually some alterations or edits made to the physics of the car or the physics model within the game's files. Now, we'll very rarely ever see developers playing around with the physics or models of a car if it pretty much isn't almost set to be guaranteed to be coming to the game, especially a car that's previously added to the game. So Forza has evidently been able to get licensing and approval to add the car. So why would they go in and change it or make slight alterations to prep it for Horizon 5 and the different physics of this game years after it was first added? I mean, I don't think they'd be doing that by random. It's a pretty good indicator it could be coming to the game, and I would definitely not be against that. It's quite an iconic car, definitely something that would suit Forza, and maybe could even come with some cool upgrade potential or customization that wasn't previously added in the other Horizon games when it was within Forza. Now, the second last car on this list I'll be discussing is going to be a 2025 Porsche Macan GTS, a very cool car. Of course, this SUV is pretty insane. We haven't seen a Macan, or I think there's only one Macan in the game from 2017 or 2018, so seeing a facelifted, revamped 2025 model would be pretty cool, and this one's pretty insane in terms of how it looks, and of course the performance is very nice too. We don't see too many of these luxury SUVs that are also very performance oriented coming to these games too often, like the RS Q8, things of that nature, or even the Urus S, so seeing this Macan in the meantime would be a great addition to the game. And the final car I'll be covering throughout the course of this video is going to be the 2024 Mercedes S63 AMG. Now, this car is pretty insane again. We've seen the E63, we've seen the C63, but we haven't seen the S63 in pretty much the entirety of Forza. This would be a pretty insane car, a perfect blend of that luxury and performance in Mercedes. We've seen a couple of those cars added over the past year or so. The S63 will be a great way to finish it off as one of the final Forza cars or Mercedes cars we see added Horizon 5 before 6 comes out. And this has been a car that's been highly anticipated on the community forums for quite a while now. This would definitely be one of my top favorites to be able to come and be added into the game. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this list of the 10 lead cars and more cars you want to see coming up to the game very, very soon. And of course, like and subscribe to stay tuned for more Forza updates.